Good afternoon, everyone. And today is Wednesday, August 12th, 2026. And this is the County of the Monterey's weekly news briefing. I'm Nick Pasculi, County Communications Director, and I want to thank you all for joining us today. This is a special news briefing because we do have some breaking news with regard to the timber fire in Big Sur. And with us today is Battalion Chief Josh Silveira with CalFire, who's going to give us an update on what is going on currently in Big Sur and the activities of CalFire. Good afternoon, Josh, and thank you for joining us at the last minute on this briefing today.
Uh, Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Josh, kind of give us an update on where we're at today and maybe what you're anticipating for the day with regard to the timber fire.
Uh, Timber fires being challenging as most of the fires are here in Big Sur. We're currently experiencing rolling material getting down and established into drainages, and then doing some isolated runs up those drainages up at firefighters that are working on suppression. We have a little bit cooler weather. The humidity has gone up a little bit, which is helping moderate fire conditions. But we can't change topography. So that's still going to be a challenge no matter what.
And I know that CAL FIRE is throwing everything they've got at this fire, air resources, ground resources. Can you go over some of the stats on what assets are involved in this incident?
Uh, Last time we did a resource reconciliation, there's currently just under 1,000 firefighters assigned to this incident. That includes engines, dozers, hand crews, support staff, and then all of our aerial firefighters that are assigned. As of yesterday, there's been over 100,000 gallons of retardant dropped on this fire. They're working on numbers as far as how much water has been dropped with our helicopters and what the flight hours currently are to date, because we have so many facilities, tanker reload bases and heli bases supporting this incident. It's just a matter of going back through and reconciling what those flight hours are. We have crews from all over the state currently assigned and en route to the incident, and Incident Management Team 1 is currently working on um, taking over the incident with the direction from the U.S. Forest Service.
Excellent. And I know that we closed Highway 1 last night as a result of the fire, which is about a 10-mile stretch to help the firefighters and emergency crews to get in and out. It's important for folks to know that, and it's important for folks to know that we need to get our equipment in and out of there. You want to address that just a little bit?
Yeah, it's a very dynamic situation. We understand the remote nature of the Big Sur community, and we want those folks to be able to um, make their way into town if they need to, make their way up to Carmel, or out into San Luis Obispo County. So we don't take those road closures lightly. We're constantly reevaluating with our partners from CHP and Caltrans on on-road closures and what those are going to look like moving forward as the days continue to come upon us.
Excellent. And I know that the CAL FIRE is operating with a vast partnership of other agencies to include the County of Monterey, Department of Emergency Management, Monterey County Sheriff's Office, U.S. Forest Service, California Highway Patrol, and many others. Certainly know that you're grateful for all that support, and none of us could do this alone.
Yeah, the cooperation, collaboration we see in this county is amazing. We truly come together as a county and a community when we have these large scale events. Our hats go off to the initial responders that went to this incident. Folks from Big Sur Fire Brigade were instrumental Saturday evening when this kicked off. Chief Harris and his folks down there really engaged the fire aggressively and did the best they could in those challenging conditions, but really set us up to understand the area, and they continue to assist us because they have that local knowledge. Our cooperators from the Los Padres National Forest have been awesome to work with, and then all of the local cooperators from Monterey County, including CHP, Monterey County Sheriff's Office, Monterey County Department of Emergency Management. We all talk regularly, and because of those relationships that we've built through the years, it really makes managing these events very seamless because of all the work that's gone in prior to an emergency like this really coming into the county.
Yeah, and you make an excellent point that there is a lot of collaboration and communication. I mean, I know myself, we have with you all, we have a small army of public information officers who are doing our best to get as much information out to the public. Can you talk about, why that's important and why we throw so much public information officer resources at an event like this?
Yeah, in today's world, everybody wants accurate, timely information. They want it at their fingertips via social media, and that can lead to false information. So we do our best as public information officers for any of these incidents to make sure that when we're putting out a product or a press release or any kind of product on social media, it's something that's vetted and it's accurate. It's not something that's hearsay. So having that small team of public information officers is huge to make sure we have that timely distribution of accurate, vetted information to all the members and residents here in Monterey County.
Yeah, and I guess, it's important to emphasize the fact that we want folks to look at official sources of information and not pick it up from unofficial sources. And there are a number of those, including the CalFire website, which is outstanding. And the reporting on the CalFire website is tremendous. The Department of Emergency Management, which is readymontereycounty.org, has an incident page for this incident as well, providing resources and whatnot for the community. But that rumor control, that accurate information, getting it out there is critically important. And I know, Josh, your team and our team plays a big role in that.
Yeah, and we have a link tree set up that kind of guides everybody to those official sources so that they are getting accurate, vetted information, just like you said, so that it's not just a hearsay local report of something. It's actual factual content that's going out.
And of course, we also want to acknowledge the local news media and the regional news media because we know they're monitoring those official sources and working hard to put out accurate information. You yourself have done a number of interviews in the last couple of days. What can you add and why that's important to tune into local news as well?
The local news is an unsung collaborator in all of this. They understand the local knowledge. They know the local communities. We've built trust with our partners from the Monterey Herald, the Salinas Californian, KSBW. They want to do the best to tell the story that is happening in our community and spread that factual information that the incident management team is putting out.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Josh. And I know that they're an important critical partner in getting information to the public. Some of the information that CalFire puts out is a report that comes out fairly regularly on your website. I do want to turn people to the CalFire website whenever possible. Also, the social media, follow CalFire on social media as well as the County of Monterey. We have some of the same information on both sites intentionally, but we also have some additional information on various different sites to meet the needs of our community, including information on shelters, including information on air quality, and other important information that we want the public to know about. Josh, I know you're busy and you've got a lot to do today, and you were kind enough to come on this briefing at the last minute. I just want to pause and see if any of the media have any questions before we let you go. And I would ask the media to raise their hands and be recognized, and we can do it that way instead of doing it in the chat. So if anybody has any questions for CalFire, please indicate by raising your hand and I will recognize you. Looks like, Josh, you might be off the hook for answering any questions on the spot. I do want to acknowledge on behalf of the County of Monterey, we are grateful for CalFire's leadership and your organization, professionalism, and I know the community of Big Sur and the entire County of Monterey is grateful, and we thank you so much for your service and continue to look forward to working with you during this incident.
Thanks, Nick. I appreciate your guys' time, and I really enjoy being a collaborator here in this county. Like I said, what we have built here is a pretty special family, and we support each other very well, and I'm very thankful for that.
And thank you very much, Josh, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, so that was Josh Silveira, the battalion chief for CalFire. For our media partners, CalFire is available for interviews as well, so you can reach out to them directly, or you can reach out to us at the County of Monterey Communications Bureau, pr@countyofmonterey.gov. I also want to mention that we do have a shelter set up in Carmel at the Carmel Middle School. So that also is an overnight shelter for individuals that are in the evacuation order areas of the county. And there's also a temporary evacuation point, which is daytime operations for referral and information for residents, both in the evacuation order areas as well as the evacuation warning areas. We have had overnight guests, as we reported out earlier today, and we do have people there usually during the day seeking information and respite during this incident. I also want to mention that the Community Foundation for Monterey County has opened up their fire relief fund. And you can go to their website, the Community Foundation for Monterey County, to find out more information on how you might be able to help with disaster relief in our community. So changing subjects here now, I want to turn to Maria Pacheco with the County of Monterey Department of Social Services, and we are going to talk about CalFresh Help for Students. Maria, welcome to the briefing.
Thank you, Nick, and
And if you
thank you
could
for the
tilt your camera
opportunity.
down a little bit so we could see you, that would be great. There, you're rising. There you go. Rising like the
Better.
sun. Excellent. All right.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity. I put together a brief presentation to share some information about CalFresh and students.
Right. You can
And
go ahead and share your screen. And while you're doing that, we know that this is an important service that the county provides to students, and especially for returning to school time. And this is a timely subject, equally important to many other things that we are going to be talking about today.
okay, I
There
should
you
be
go. You're
sharing.
live.
Yes, all righty. Thank you. Alrighty, so higher education and CalFresh participation. And so this brief presentation is to hopefully share some information to help understand how students can participate in the CalFresh program. First of all, students, to be considered a student, the student has to be enrolled in an institution of higher education. And that means that the student has to be enrolled at least half time at a California community college, a California State University, or a University of California. Any student enrolled at least half time in any of these college or universities is considered to be enrolled in an institution of higher education and must meet a student exemption to be eligible for CalFresh benefits. This is known as the student eligibility rule. And the colleges and universities are going to be familiar with student eligibility, the term. So I want to start by providing some high-level information on exemptions so that when we do have students in colleges and universities, here is what hopefully the colleges, the schools will know about eligibility for students there. A student who is 17 years or younger or 50 years or older is exempt. Students with disabilities, students receiving temporary assistance for needy families, funded cash or non-cash benefits, and students who are responsible for a dependent child. These are exemptions to that student eligibility rule, and it would not apply to the student who's enrolled at least half time to any college or university. There are other exemptions related to employment and training. This is if the student is working an average of 20 hours a week or an average of 80 hours a month. If the student applied for FAFSA, then they should be getting some information regarding work study. So if they are participating in work study, they were approved, awarded, or accepted a work study assignment, that's also an exemption. If the student is engaged in employment and training programs, this usually occurs if the student is receiving cash aid assistance through the Department of Social Services or receiving Cal grants that are TANF funded um, um, may also qualify as some um, exemption as well. The training component also is through the Department of Social Services here in Monterey County. There is a training component. If they're enrolled in that training component or any other training component, that may meet the exemption as well. And lastly, we have the local programs that increase employability, and this is usually specific to college programs. And so I really want to build on that one because there was a recent change on the local programs that increase employability. And so the California Department of Social Services, in its efforts to increase CalFresh participation among the student population, evaluated the coursework and completed an analysis of the graduate outcomes. And it was determined that associate's and bachelor's degree programs in any California public institution of higher education include at least one component that is equivalent to the CalFresh employment and training component. So with that being said, it was concluded that effective June 1st of this year, if a student qualifies for the local program that increases employability exemption, the student, how to meet that LPIE exemption, the student must be attending the community college, a CSU or a UC half-time or more, and enrolled in an associate or bachelor's degree program or associate's degree for transfer. The student does not have to declare a major, but is enrolled in general education courses required to obtain that bachelor's or associate's degree to meet this exemption. So the schools are aware of this new clarity. And so any student now enrolled in um, California public institutions of higher education that are in programs to obtain their associate's or bachelor's degree can apply for CalFresh benefits, and that is the information that should be shared. That's the only information that is needed for eligibility staff in Monterey County Department of Social Service to make a determination of this exemption. So, as I stated earlier, the LPIE exemption is in an effort to increase CalFresh program participation and decrease food insecurity among the college students. State of California is makes every effort to find ways or through legislation figure out how to increase CalFresh participation in California, and this was an area that they really looked into so that students can qualify for CalFresh. There's other requirements, but at least that student rule eligibility, if they are in a public college or university and with the goal of receiving an associate's or bachelor's, they're going to meet that exemption. CalFresh information or methods to apply. The students can apply in person at any of the 3 office locations in Salinas, Seaside, and King City. They could also apply by mail at the Schilling address or by fax. They can fax over. So if they stop at the offices and they decide to just pick up the application, they can then turn around and mail it or fax it in. Always online through benefitscal.com. And then we also have a telephone line that is dedicated to taking applications as well. And that's it for my presentation, Nick, unless there's any questions.
That's excellent, Maria. What a great program for students and so important. We certainly know there's a lot of need in our area. Has the Department of Social Services done a needs assessment to kind of figure out how many students might be eligible for that program?
That we do get data from the state in terms of student participation, and it is something that I'm pulling data locally here to compare. But I do anticipate that there is going to be an increase. At least I know that here in Hartnell with this program. Prior to this associate's and bachelor's programs exemption through the community colleges, Monterey Peninsula College was kind of leading the way in terms of getting programs that met that LPIE exemption. And now with this expansion, Hartnell is going to be able to get students exempt to the student eligibility rule. So unfortunately, I don't have a concrete number for you, Nick, but definitely we do anticipate that there's going to be increase in participation among the student population.
That's wonderful. And I guess the bottom line message for everybody is that, if you think you might be eligible, certainly either call, stop by, look online, be proactive and find out if indeed people are eligible for the program.
Yes. And Benefits Cal is there's a lot of enhancements in the customer facing aspect of applying and reporting information. So it is a really good tool to use if um, the community is comfortable with, surfing on the web and submitting applications and submitting information through the Benefits Cal portal.
Well, Marina, I want to thank you very much for joining us on today's briefing, and I'm certain we're going to get some questions, and of course we'll pass those on to you. But I encourage everybody to reach out and learn more. So thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. So also happening this month are two special community meetings at East Garrison residents, and those interested in the history of this area will want to take note of. Did you know that East Garrison History Art District Master Plan is being developed? It will focus on the future of 23 county-owned historic buildings there. So let's find out more about the plan and how people can get involved. With us today, we have Shandy Carroll, the County of Monterey Housing and Community Development Department, and welcome to the briefing. And let's tell us some more. This is exciting. We all know those buildings very, very well out there on Reservation Road.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Yes, they're well-known buildings out there. And so good afternoon, everybody. I'm Shandy Carroll. I'm here to speak about the East Garrison Historic District Facility Master Plan on behalf of the successor agency to the Redevelopment Agency of Monterey County. For short, the successor agency, and I'm going to use the for short version. So as we know, the East Garrison community foundational documents and all of the kind of layers of regulatory things that happened there all came together in about 2005 and that includes the former Fort Ord historic buildings in the community. They were envisioned as an arts district with live, work, artist studios in them. Since then, the market conditions have changed significantly. And in 2024, the slated development nonprofit partner pulled out of the project due to lack of economic feasibility. Successor agency, we're working with our contractor, Gensler, to develop a feasibility plan that's based on the existing market conditions, interest, community need, and the existing facility conditions. So as a brief background, the historic district is 23 historic buildings within the East Garrison community, and it includes former Army base serving buildings built in the 1930s and 40s. So there's latrines, showers, warehouses pictured here, the Rod and Gun Club, which is at the top of the hill. There's also officer and enlisted men mess halls.
We're not seeing your slides, so can you try
Oh,
screen feature again, please?
I'm sorry. I had several slides there too. This one's the best one, so we haven't missed too much. Here we go.
Great.
And these will be shared afterwards as well.
Wonderful. And it's coming on. There we go. We're live now.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah. So in the original 2005 plan, 20 buildings were envisioned to go to nonprofits to own, operate, 3 to county, and 3 of the buildings are going to county government purposes. But the main point here is that they're really buildings in the heart of the community, and this plan that we're working on with Gensler is to really base the next steps in reality. So our next steps with Gensler here are we have a community advisory committee, which involves several key community members. And then the next step is to seek community input from the larger community, which includes not just residents of East Garrison, but anybody who feels like you may be part of that community, who may be interested in these historic buildings, who may have creative thoughts and ideas or business thoughts to share, or think that you may go out there. I myself go out there sometimes. I enjoy the playgrounds out at East Garrison with my kiddo, and it's just a really great place to visit. So our plan with Gensler, there'll be a check-in point following the initial assessments and community input, and we may need to go to the board for next steps and amendments to our existing plans and documents. But in the near term, we have 2 community workshops coming up. This is the first series of community workshops we'll do. There'll be a second series of community workshops. So that's why it says community workshop number 1 and then lists 2 opportunities. So the in-person workshop will be August 20th, Thursday in the evening. And the venue will be the East Garrison Regional Fire Station. The link to sign in is both the QR code on the screen, and then that'll be shared as a press release today. The email address on the screen comes to several staff, myself included. And then the virtual workshop for those who can't make the in-person workshop will be Tuesday, August 25th. And that'll be in the evening as well on Zoom. And the link will be shared when you register for the workshop. And then there will be a survey released in the next few days here. It's actually linked in the, it's linked. So I think we can stop sharing there. That finishes my presentation, and I'm happy to take any questions.
So the community meetings, anybody's invited to attend, is that correct?
Yes, anybody's invited to attend with a kind of an interactive display with Post-it notes and boards. There'll be a little bit more background information on specific facility conditions for each building. And then I'll be there. My supervisor, Melanie Beretti, will be there, and staff from Gensler will be there as well.
And this is a kind of a unique opportunity because truly this is a historic part of the county that, obviously goes back to the World War I era.
It absolutely is, and that's why we've hired a professional firm like Gensler to really make sure we carry forward the history of the area. It's got an important place in our community as a larger community. It's very important in our history. So they're trying to really capture that as well.
That's amazing. And when you get community together, a lot of ideas come up and so we'll be excited to see what the outcome is.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on with us today. We appreciate it and keep up the good work and keep us posted so we can come back and provide a report out.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Our last topic today is the Alisal Health Center, which is located in East Salinas and offers a full range of primary health care services serving our county's most vulnerable residents. Over the last few years, it has undergone dramatic renovation and newly remodeled facility opened on June 5th. This renovation was many years in the making, and we're going to get behind the scenes and look at the work. With us today is Chris Le-Venton, the operations manager at the County of Monterey Health Department. Good afternoon, Chris, and welcome. And we're excited to see what you're going to show us.
Oh, good afternoon. Yes, the renovation project was many years in the making. This is a privately owned building. And so a lot of the background that takes so long is our building partnerships with the owner to make the renovations in the building to accommodate the needs of the clinic. It's a 13,000 square foot clinic, and it's on the second floor of a building. And the lead up to doing this is, how do we renovate a clinic yet still see the patients? And so that challenge, a plan was put together. It took approximately 2 months leading up to that renovation in order to do that. And that was to relocate all of the doctors and all of the staff to the other clinics that we have, and then empty the building of all furniture and everything, because it had to do with floor replacement and painting and other improvements. So in order to do that, if you can imagine not only removing the furniture, but all of the workstations and computers that are used now in healthcare had to be disassembled, moved to the other clinics and reassembled, and the staff relocated to those locations. And in the meantime, rescheduling patients and notifying patients of this change in the operation for that period of time. So that was sort of the lead up to this renovation. One of the major things that required emptying the whole building was that the entire floor had to be picked up and redone and laid back down. So it's pretty extensive. And in this clinic, they see about 3,500 patients a month. And the relocation was 70 staff members, approximately 8 physicians, and the rest was the managers and the medical assistants that provide that service as well. So that's pretty much it. I mean, the actual renovation itself takes on many phases. That it took 6 months. It was the building was emptied from January to June before we were able to reoccupy. And many phases to that, besides the actual design plans for it, are that this building was built in 1991. So we're approaching about 35 years old. And so when you open up walls like that, there's mitigation, mold, dirt, things that have to be removed. And so you end up having to do all of that before you actually start putting on new tile, new paint, and so forth. So all of that was done. Then all of the furniture moved back in, and all of the people relocated back in, and patients coming back to the building.
It sounds like a great undertaking, and I know the patients are probably thrilled of this new facility. I didn't know if you had any photos or pictures you wanted to share, or is there an opportunity for any of our local media to come out and take a tour and feature this in a future date?
So far as tours, we would have to schedule those on a staff meeting day because of patient confidentiality.
Of course.
I can show you, I can share with you a couple of pictures here.
That'd be great. Pictures tell 1,000 words, as they say, Chris.
Except I'm having trouble with the share feature.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, why don't you provide them to us, and we put together a post-show package that we send out. And oh, here it goes. It's coming live.
This is the Alisal clinic on the second floor of this building on Alisal and Wood Street. And let me see if I can share one more picture with you. And there's the actual floor plan of the clinic that shows all of the rooms. If you count them up, there's over 50 open spaces here, and all of the furniture that's shown here in the design feature all had to be removed, and while the work was being done. So
that's tremendous, and it looks like it's going to be a world-class medical facility.
It is, and the staff and patients are back in the building, and they're receiving lots of compliments on the refresh and how it looks like a much more comfortable and home-like atmosphere, and much more hospitable. So everybody seems to be very pleased with it.
That's amazing. That's great too. And thank you, Chris, for your work, and of course the health department for, always keeping in mind those that need the help the most in our community, and them having facilities that are top of the line for everybody. So thank you so much, Chris.
You're welcome. This is one of our most used clinics, and it has the highest population that actually walks or takes public transportation to it. It's
Oh,
very
wow.
integral to the community. It's a very important clinic in our program.
Well, 3,500 patients a month is a big number. So, that's I'm so happy we can serve those people with even better now. So
Great.
excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much, Chris. And I want to thank everybody for joining us today on our weekly press briefing. I do want to make an important special note that if we may determine that we'll have a special briefing later in this week with regard to the timber fire. That will be determined in the coming days. And if we do, we'll send notifications out to everybody, inviting them to a special briefing. In the meantime, stay tuned to the county's website, the Department of Emergency Management's website, which is readymontereycounty.org, or CalFire's website for the most up-to-date information on the timber fire. And we will do our best to keep those updated as conditions change throughout the week. And also stay tuned to local media because all the information that we gather, we do share with our local media folks so that they can get the information out to you. For the County of Monterey and the Communications Bureau, I'm Nick Pasculi. Join us next week on August 19th for our regular Wednesday briefing. Have a great day and be safe out there.